Welcome back to Dead Wives and Kids with Knives, a nuanced discussion of the literary works of Stephen King. I'm Cody Lindenberger.
I'm Jill Gillespie.
If you're joining us for the first time, this is a podcast about the books of Stephen King. I am a huge Stephen King fan. I have read every Stephen King book, most of them many times. I've been reading Stephen King since I was 10 years old.
And I have not. So every episode I am coming in fresh, interacting. Like, I don't even know that I've watched many Stephen King movie adaptations, nothing. So
that's
I'm
why we're
coming in
doing
fresh.
This. Yeah. Today we are discussing Stephen King's, I believe, 7th novel, The Dead Zone. The Dead Zone, yes.
A book that I appreciated because it's getting into like the linear storytelling where he starts a story from the beginning and just goes forward.
Yeah. We talked last when we did our Salem Slot episode about the difference in writing between his son Joe Hill and him, and how Joe Hill likes to tell these long stories that go over along many years, and Stephen King usually likes to stick to building like a community and just telling a story of like, and then here's a really bad week that happened here.
Yeah.
And tore the whole thing down. And this is not that. This is a story about one man's sort of journey of a series of things that happened to him over his life. And maybe we understand now why he likes to stick to building those communities instead.
Yeah.
This was a very popular book. This was the first Stephen King book to make the top 10 list for the year. It was one of the top 10 most popular novels the year it was published.
Do you know what the number one was?
The Bible.
Is it always?
Okay. No, I have no idea. My research didn't go that deep.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, no, this book, it was very popular. It was dedicated to his son Owen when he wrote it. It was well received. People liked it. They thought it was different than the other things he had written, which I agree with.
Yeah, it didn't fall into horror as much for me as just kind of a fucked up story.
there's horror in the middle of it. I think the Castle Rock portion of it is the horror portion. And I think that could have been just like its own book. And when we get to that part, we'll talk about that more.
Yeah.
Because I think other people felt the same way about that. And it went off and just wrote other stories kind of based on that.
Yes, beautiful.
This is the first book to mention the city of Castle Rock, which is a city Stephen King created and then would go on to tell other stories about. Rob Reiner, the late, great Rob Reiner, who directed Stand By Me and Misery, two of the best Stephen King adaptations, actually named his production company Castle Rock Entertainment.
Oh, so that was him.
Because of Castle Rock.
Yes.
Because of working with Stephen King. So,
Well, there you
So
go.
anytime you see Castle Rock, that's because of Stephen King.
Yes, I knew that. I did not know the Rob Reiner connection because I missed, the 80s, 90s? I missed everything up till like 3 years ago.
You were busy.
I was busy. I had an improv show.
Now, this was another book that I read many times when I was a kid. I loved this book. I thought it was so... He was so interested in all the like parapsychological things early in his writing. You know, we've already seen like with The Shining and with things like Carrie. Yeah, just like he was very interested in like psychic powers, and this is just sort of like a natural extension of that, I think.
Yeah.
And then he starts to sort of drift away from that more and get into more actual horror.
Yeah. So it was a nice pause, a nice little interlude in between.
Do you want to play our Explain a Book Poorly game?
Yes.
I'll kick us off here.
Okay.
The Dead Zone is a story about how sometimes when a boy cries wolf, there is a wolf, and you should be afraid of the wolf, and even once the wolf is there, you're still mad at the boy because you think he created the wolf.
The Dead Zone is a story about how if you stop showing up for things, people do move on without you.
The Dead Zone is a story about how carnival food isn't worth it. Don't eat that hot dog.
The Dead Zone is a story about how expensive the healthcare system is.
Definitely. A lot of medical bills in this book.
Yes.
The Dead Zone is a story about a charismatic young politician whose career is taken off the tracks by a brain-damaged fanatic.
The Dead Zone is a story that reminds us that most politicians are or have been grifters.
The Dead Zone is a story about Psychic Johnny and the 3 things he did.
The Dead Zone is the story of it never hurts to ask if somebody wants to fuck.
I was going to say, the Dead Zone is a story about why you shouldn't let your wife go visit her ex-boyfriend. Yeah, horny Stephen King makes an appearance in this book.
Yes.
All right.
I have one more. Okay. The Dead Zone is a story about how human children make great shields.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's horrible, but he went there, and so did I.
He did indeed. We will get to that part. Yeah, so The Dead Zone, we start with a prologue.
Yes, and a lot of big words at the beginning about how this is a fictional story. I just noticed that as I was just like getting to it. It was just so like big.
Because he's like, if anyone kills a politician because of this, I didn't make that happen.
It's like it was written like something had happened before.
Yeah. Well, this is coming after like all the Kennedy stuff, you know, like people were shooting politicians left and right in the 1960s. It was just a thing.
Again, they didn't have streaming services.
Yeah,
so
very boring time to be alive.
Yeah.
So yeah, we start with our prologue, and we have 2 stories that happen in the prologue. We have young Johnny and young Greg Stilson.
Yes.
So
young Johnny is a hockey playing kid, and there is a scene of him and his friends.
Yeah, he's like 6 years old, and it's a little town in Maine, and there's the ice rink that every little town in Maine has, and the bigger kids are playing hockey. But young Johnny's a really good ice skater.
Yes.
And so he's going to go over and play with the big kids, you know, because he can skate backwards and everything. And you've got sort of the men who are sitting around a burning tire to stay warm, drinking their beer, you know, and Johnny's not paying attention because he's skating backwards, and one of these big clumsy boys knocks him over. Johnny falls, cracks his head, knocked unconscious. They get him over here, you know, they're waking him up, and he grabs one of these men, you know, and he has a vision. And he says something about how, like, don't jump it again, that battery's going to explode.
Oh. I already don't remember that, so
yeah,
good.
And, you know, next thing you know, he's waking up in the hospital, and his parents are there, and they're like, oh, you were saying something about a battery or something. And he's like, oh, I don't remember any of that. And then like 2 weeks later, that man, we find out, was jump-starting his car, and the battery blew up in his face, and he lost his eye and was hospitalized for a few weeks from it and everything. But Johnny didn't have any memory of that. I mean, by the time he got home and had dinner, the whole thing had faded out of his memory for him.
Yeah, I made a note that something about black ice. Like, I don't know if that was him not like only remembering that or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, he just always has like the black ice and the smell of the burning tire are sort of these, like, the only thing he remembers from it. Just sort of his triggers from that.
Yeah. So
my play that I wrote, Seven Naughty Men, that we performed last year, Tay Castillo's character, who had the eye patch the whole time, that we did the whole Home Alone, or the toy Christmas Story bit about with the Red Ryder BB rifle, where you're supposed to think that his son shot his eye out. But he says, no, this is from a car battery. That was an homage to this scene from The Dead Zone, because this has always stuck with me. When I was a kid, my grandfather and I, we would service all of the cars in our family. Like on Saturdays, everyone would just bring their cars over, and we would check the oil and change the oil and check tire pressures. And we would also check the batteries and like check the like fluid levels in them and everything like that. And I was always so scared that these batteries are just gonna like explode in our faces. Even though like batteries are so much better by the time we were doing this in the 1990s than they were in the 1950s when this happened. Like, it just always, to me, is like, because of this book, I was like, batteries just explode. Yeah. That's just a thing that happens.
Yeah. I had a similar but not similar triggering event when I was riding in a car with my grandpa. down a country road one time. I was in the back seat and I looked between the console and he had like a Pepsi in his drink thing. And I'm like, you're not supposed to drink and drive. And I had a real panic about it. They weren't specific that it was only alcohol.
They did not clarify that.
Yeah. So anyway, my grandpa's dead now. So
R.I.P.
Yeah, we don't know yet if it was from the Pepsi or not.
Could have been. Maybe a car battery.
Maybe. So,
but then our other story, we have Greg Stilson, who, if you want people to just hate a character right away, there's no better way to do it than have him kick a dog to death.
Yeah.
And that is what Greg Stilson, who's out selling Bibles door to door. He's out in like Nebraska, just like traveling around in his car, going to these farmhouses and selling them these fancy Bibles and other like religious books that he has. And there's no one home, and this dog like comes too close to him or something, and he just starts kicking it.
Yeah.
And he just like goes into like a rage, and you're just like, I hate this guy.
Yes.
We are like 12 pages of this book, and I hate this man. Why are we reading this?
And Stephen King will always want to make these characters somewhat sympathetic. Like he tries to be like, oh, but you know his dad. You know? Or things like that will get said, and I'm like, no. Some people just are pieces of shit.
Yeah. Like in The Shining, by the time we get to, Jack trying to kill his own son, we spent so much time learning, on Jack's side where he's trying to rationalize he's still a good guy, Not with Greg Stilson. Greg Stilson, he's like, nope, this guy, bad guy.
Yeah, he's a grifter. He knows he's a grifter. He's also just like, he's working his way like across the country, I think, is the like trajectory. I can't remember if he sells different things along the way, but I can't remember if he started with Bibles or if it built up to Bibles.
We get more of his backstory much, much, much later in the book.
Yeah, because then like 100, 200 pages happens and we just get Johnny's story and then don't hear from this guy again.
And, to the point where you're like, why did we have to watch that guy kick that dog to death at the beginning? Why?
Yeah,
we find out eventually, but
Yes.
But eventually he's like, he's showing us who are going to be our two main characters at some point in this book, Johnny and Greg. And so at some point there's going to be a confrontation between them.
Yes.
We don't know yet that that's going to be a long time later.
Yeah, 600 pages. They meet each other like 400 pages in. So it's.
So then we cut to Johnny Smith as an adult. He's like a 23-year-old. He's just graduated from college and he's a teacher.
And he is in a town called Cleves Mills. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And he and Sarah are getting, Sarah's the love interest in this
she's
one.
Another teacher.
They're getting ready to go on a date to the fair, I think is the opening scene with them, right?
Etsy agricultural fair.
Yes.
Which sounds like such a great date.
Yeah. It wasn't a state fair.
It's specifically called the agricultural fair, which I feel is like a state fair, but with more of a focus on the agriculture.
I guess. Just a lot of corn. And we learn about Sarah that she has old boyfriends, ex-boyfriends that were not good people.
You get a lot of Dan. There was a Dan who was a real
piece of work.
Yeah.
Piece of work.
Dan was really trying to just force her into this marriage and this life that she didn't want.
That's right. He's the one that wanted to move her out of probably to Jersey.
Yeah.
Right? Like move her out of town.
Didn't want her teaching anymore. Just wanted her to come be a wife, and he's going to work the job and she's going to have kids, and that's going to be it.
Yeah. And she's like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And so she started seeing Johnny, but I think she was still conflicted about whether she really liked him or not.
Yeah.
But because I think sometimes after you're in a borderline abusive relationship, like a partner who is loving is confusing.
Yeah.
At first, it can be like they're trying, I'm getting manipulated. When's the shoe gonna drop?
Yeah, because Johnny's presented as almost too nice.
Yeah. And kind of boring looking.
Yeah,
he's not the jock. He's not a cool presence. He's just kind of a dork.
He's just kind of a goofy teacher.
Yeah. And so they're getting ready to go. He spooks her by putting on a little Jekyll and Hyde mask or something, and spooks her, and she didn't like it, and he's like, okay. And then they go, and They're having a great time. They have some food.
She eats a hot dog.
She eats a hot dog.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. And then they're playing a roulette
The
style.
Wheel of Fortune.
Yes.
Yes. With the carny, who's doing all the carny barking and stuff. And Johnny's been having headaches. And he's been smelling burning rubber and seeing black ice. And all of a sudden, he starts seeing the numbers before the numbers come up. And Sarah's starting to not feel good.
Yes.
And you get this really great scene where it's just everything just starts piling up on each other. You've got all these people starting to crowd around because Johnny starts winning the Wheel of Fortune, the roulette, and he just keeps doubling down his money. And more people are joining in, and Sarah's like, no, really, I don't feel good. And Johnny's like, hold on a second. I'm being psychic.
Yes.
And he gets to the point where he's winning like more than the guy's supposed to bet.
Right.
But one of these other guys who's there is like, no, I know you got more money than that. And he like leans over the counter and pulls out the cash box and is like, you've got plenty of money. Take this bet.
Yeah.
And Johnny ends up winning like $750 or something, which in 1970s time, that's a lot of money. That's probably more than like he makes in a month.
Yeah.
And then Sarah's throwing up.
Yes.
And we know it's not pregnancy because they haven't smashed yet.
No, they have not.
She's spending this whole time wondering if she's going to sleep with Johnny tonight. Like that's the
Yes.
main thing on her mind is like, am I going to let him have sex with me or not?
Yes. She's vomiting. So hot.
Which just reminds me of the scene from the 40-year-old version when he like picks up the girl at the bar. She throws up on him in the car and is like, I'll still have sex with you if you want.
So basically, this is the scene from 4-year-old version.
Yeah.
And so he gets her home.
They drive her car home because they took her car.
That's right.
She doesn't have a car.
That's right.
What a catch.
Yeah.
And
What?
she's
She has a
like,
car.
she's like, well, you can stay here. And he's like, no, you're sick. I'm going to leave you here.
Yes.
And she's like, well, you can take my car. And he's like, no, I'll call a cab. You need your car. You have to go to work tomorrow. I'll be fine. I've got all this money now. I can take a cab.
Yeah.
Another big mistake.
Yep.
Because he gets in the cab, and the cab driver's talking all about his son and everything, and very distracted. And Johnny's like, you want to watch the road or something? And then the accident.
Yes.
The two kids are drag racing. They come over a hill, head-on collision. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yep. And then Johnny goes into
A coma.
the coma.
And we are already 60 pages into the book.
Yes. And they've taken the main character out. So that's because I knew like Dead Zone and like the picture of it is like it's like spacey and his head is exploding.
Not Kevin Spacey.
No. I like neither. But or do we like Kevin Spacey?
No.
Is he no, that's okay. Just want to make sure. I get my names mixed up.
He's been very canceled.
Yes.
He lives in
okay.
Europe now.
Okay, good. So I was wondering, not knowing the story, if it was going to take place in his coma or like what was going to happen from here. Because
Yeah.
again, they took the main character out of commission right away.
The whole thing's a Jacob's Ladder scenario where someone just in his brain as he dies.
Yeah. So I guess luckily not that, I guess. So we get to learn while he's in his coma, we learn a lot about how the world was going on around him. And so through that process of, he's in the coma at the hospital, we meet his parents, Herb and, what's her name?
Vera.
Ugh, Vera.
So one thing real quick I wanted
Yes.
to mention, the street that Sarah lives on is Flag Street in the book. Flag with 2 G's. And that's a name of significance in the Stephen King universe.
Okay.
Randall Flagg is sort of this big bad villain who we're going to meet in a couple of books, who recurs over and over again in the Stephen King universe.
Interesting.
And I can't help but feel like that's intentional here, like it's sort of a precursor, because Stephen King has this sort of idea in his books of powerful figures being like manipulated by the greater forces of like the white and the black, like we sort of talked about in the Salem's Lot episode. And I feel like there's sort of an idea here of Johnny being manipulated, being like taken off the board with this accident, like as his powers are starting to manifest at the fair, like naturally on their own. Something happening to just like remove him. Like there was some sort of destiny or something he was supposed to do, and now some sort of like villainous like power is like, nope, cab,
Yeah.
accident, you're gone.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or he's like, oh, I've used that word flag before. Maybe I'll keep using it in another book.
That could be too, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can easily spell flag with one G and to spell it with two, and then to use that in so many other books also, I don't want.
Well, I think if it's just flag, it's a flag. But if you add two G's, then it's a person's name.
It's a name, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a name he
A
likes
flag
to
is a
use.
flag, but a flag is a meal. So dumb.
Yeah, but I mean,
anyway.
just as soon as I read that, I was like, oh my god, this has to be
Yeah.
a reason he did this.
Yeah. Or maybe not.
Or he just doesn't know that many names. I
Or
don't
the
know.
drugs. I don't know. So,
Anyways, so we meet Herb and Vera.
And so
And Vera right now is only a little bit kooky.
yes.
She's a little religious, and we know how Stephen King feels about his religious women.
Yes.
He's not a huge fan because of the aunts that he was forced to live with when he was a younger boy.
Yes. And
But
so-
Herb's a really good guy. Herb's like a contractor. He's like a construction worker who runs his own company.
Mm-hmm. But he is not making as much money as he used to be in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
And he's starting to get older and not able to work as much. And the doctors are kind of talking to him about how expensive it is going to be to keep Johnny alive when he can't work as much. And Johnny's obviously not working.
Yeah.
So can you imagine still working in a coma? Like, oh, thank goodness you're still here. Here's some reports. But anyway, so Herb, in his struggle by himself, he's doing a lot of struggling by himself because Vera is not helpful.
Vera's just over here praying.
Yeah, and so he actually is wishing for Johnny to die, essentially, because of the debt and
Just
obviously
the burden of it
and
all.
the burden
And he
and-
thinks that, this is suffering for Johnny also. And
yeah, and you never
it's just
know.
causing stress for everyone and pain for
Yeah.
everyone.
And who knows what he'll be like when he wakes up
Yeah.
and things like, or if he wakes up and things like
And he's
that.
just picturing them, 90 years old with the son that they're taking care of because he can't take care of himself. And
Yeah.
yeah, all the
So-
worst things you can imagine.
So yeah, so Herb's
He's
pretty,
a pragmatist.
Yeah, he's pretty much the realest character in any of the books that I've read so
He's the
far.
Jill.
Yep, he is the Jill. Yes, and so.
But they meet Sarah also, and they have
Yes.
meetings with the doctors, and the doctors are very pessimistic.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to wake up. If he does wake up, he's not going to be okay.
Yeah.
If he is okay, he's not going to walk. None of this is going to be good.
Yeah.
Dude is messed up.
Yeah.
And some of the students come to visit him. They he was a very popular teacher, but
Yeah.
it's not good.
Yeah, and so Vera, over the course, so she's gonna lay into her religion because God saved Johnny and kept him alive, and must be for some reason, and so she starts to spiral in her little world, and Herb is shutting himself away from her because she's getting so crazy, and so she's turning to the correspondence
Yeah,
and
the more religion.
yeah, which
the
are
deeper religion,
yes, the ones that are always sure the rapture is
fringe
coming.
religion.
Yeah.
The expensive religion.
Yes, and so she's buying
They're
all
not
their
spending enough money already.
yeah. So she's starts buying up all their tchotchkes and special waters and all of the things. So she's in her world going nuts, and then Sarah and Herb build a relationship and write letters and stay in touch, and so over the course of this time that Johnny's in the coma, she has to make a choice too. Do I wait for Johnny, or when do I move on? Because guys know that she's currently available because Johnny's busy. So guys are starting to court her, and I think did they say how long she waited? A year or so? I can't remember.
So she waits at least 2 years. So, okay, but in the meantime, we
Yeah.
have some other chapters that are popping up here also.
Okay.
We get our first Castle Rock chapter. The killer was slick.
Oh, is that what you're calling the castle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we get our first killer, the murder of Alma Frechette, which we're getting all from the perspective of this killer. We're getting his POV, first-person POV of this killer.
Which for a long time I thought was Greg Stilson.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to put together that and I don't know if that was on purpose or just me missing something, but I thought this killer was Stilson.
I think that's an easy mistake to make because we were introduced to this guy kicking a dog to death in the prologue.
Yeah.
And now we get a guy killing a woman, because his mom was putting clothespins on his dick when he was a kid because she caught him masturbating.
Yeah, so it just all connected, but
Yeah.
so for all of a sudden when they said the guy's name like later, I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like the record scratched in my head.
But then,
So, anyway.
we get this murder of this woman that's described in fairly graphic detail by this guy, where he's just going through and he molests her and he kills her, and she can't touch him because he's wearing this slick raincoat, and he's very proud of that because he's so smart.
Yeah.
And he's bragging to himself as he's attacking her about how smart he is.
Yeah, just like when he's going crazy with his martinis in the bar in The Shining. It's like that kind of crazy.
Exactly. But then we do get a Greg Stilson scene, who he's 16 years older than he was when we saw him before, where he is now selling insurance.
Okay.
He's moved up in the world, but he also wants to run for mayor. And this is the first time we meet Sonny Elliman, who is this biker, who's the head of this biker gang. And Sonny Elliman got in trouble in this town. And Greg's like, listen, I can be your friend or I can be your enemy. And they have this scene. And Sonny's like, okay, I'm not going to make any deal with you now, but in the future, you know, we can talk. And as he leaves, he's like, that guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I do not want to mess with him because
Yes.
that is an insane person.
Yes.
So a year passes after that, and that is when Sarah marries Walt.
Okay. Has the lightning rod been sold yet?
That is
Did
after 2 years. That's when we get the
Okay.
Kathy's Roadhouse scene.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we get
Beautiful.
this scene out of nowhere
Yes.
where we just suddenly get this traveling salesman. Who again, we're like, is this the killer?
Yeah.
Is this Greg still? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
This traveling salesman stops at this place called Kathy's Roadhouse. And he's like, he's just going to get a beer. He's at the end of the day, but he checks the roof out of habit. And he's like, no lightning rods. I guess I'll try. And so he goes in. He's like, yeah, give me a beer. Buy one for yourself, you know. Starts chatting the guy up. And he's like, oh, by the way, I noticed, you know, lightning rods, you know, put them out there. It'll take money off your insurance. And then all the other, you know, the barflies start immediately, you know, interjecting themselves into it. And he's like, fuck. This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's too bad. He could have saved him money and, you know, kept this place from burning down someday.
So I'm sorry. So that wasn't Greg either?
No.
God damn
This
it.
is just some random lightning rod salesman in a scene that's just placed here just as like, I'm just going to set this over here. It's like an improv when you just do a scene so that you want to do a callback later.
Yes.
But cheating because you already planned your callback.
That sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I have a really funny scene I want to do at the end of the show, so I'm going to do a scene earlier. Yeah, it's Stephen King writing the mystery backwards, you know. It's him being like, I know I want to do this thing later.
And
so
it's so dumb. I remember all of these parts, thought it was Greg the whole time.
Yeah,
Did not realize that this was seven different people.
That would be such a crazy coincidence if he was the salesman who then led that.
Because I thought that's how we knew he was evil, was because he was going across the country being this shyster to and grifting all these people. I just figured that was just part of his journey.
If it was Greg Stilson, he would be selling like defective lightning rods that
That's
he
what I
made
thought
himself.
Yeah, that's what I thought was like.
Stilson brand lightning rods, and they're just like tin foil wrapped around a coat hanger or something.
Okay. Well, gosh darn it!
Yeah.
Now I have to read this book again. Okay, so that's
So it's just a scene of a guy who fails to sell lightning rods to Kathy's Roadhouse.
And then we just put a little
years
pin
before
in it.
anything ever else happens there of relevance.
Put a pin. All right.
So then we get the scene where Johnny's been at this hospital, the Eastern Maine Medical Center, but after 2 years, they're like, he can't stay here anymore. This is a hospital.
Yes.
This is expensive. And so we meet these doctors, Dr. Wyzak and Dr. Brown, and they agree to take over Johnny's case.
I like them.
Yeah, mainly because I like one of them.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're just interested. It's unique because most people that are in these comas, they say either get worse or get better. Johnny's just kind of maintaining. His body isn't showing the atrophy they expect to see, but he's also not coming out of it. You know, he's just kind of in the stasis right now. And they're like, this is an interesting case. So we'll take him on and we'll keep the medical bills from piling up on you like they've been doing. So they take over. And yeah, Dr. Wyzak's a really cool doctor. Stephen King writes him really well. He's this Polish doctor who has a lot of personality to him. Whenever he talks, he's having a lot of fun with himself. And Dr. Brown's also there.
Yes. Yeah. We'll talk about it later, but I think he was completely out of the movie, right? Like, he just didn't exist.
Yeah, he gets eliminated completely.
Okay.
And so at this point, 4 years have passed, and Johnny's still in his coma. Sarah's had a baby now with her husband. You know, her life is really moving on. And then 2 boys find another body in Castle Rock.
Ugh.
So the killer has continued to be killing. And so we're just everything's just kind of moving along while Johnny's still just in his coma. And then finally we get Mr. Starrett, Johnny's roommate. So he's been, you know, just in his coma. And Mr. Starrett doesn't want to be there. He doesn't like the food. He's complaining about everything. And the nurse is talking to him, and it's been raining all day, and she doesn't want to be there. And she looks at Johnny, and she's like, "That's not the position he was in earlier, is it? Did he move?" But she's too busy to tell anyone. And then finally, after 120 pages, we get another Johnny scene. We get the scene of Johnny where he's in a tunnel, and he's sort of remembering things, and he's hearing voices, and he's seeing he can go one way or he can go the other way. And there's a light, and there's this, and there's that, and he decides to go this way. And he wakes up. And finally we can resume the book.
Yeah.
But we are literally now a quarter of the way through this book.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out. They finally explain what dead zone is at this point, because it doesn't get mentioned at any point, and so I noted that.
We start doing a lot of tests on Johnny immediately, because you know he's awake now. Let's do that. But you also get the scene in here where he touches Marie, one of the nurses, and he tells her, "Oh, the operation's going to be fine. He's gonna see again." And she's like, or he says something very specific about an operation. She's like, "Oh, my son's having that operation on his cornea or whatever." And so we're like, "Oh, Johnny has magic powers now."
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Or they didn't go away.
Yeah.
We knew something from the agricultural.
Whatever happened is still happening to him,
Yes.
or it's been heightened even.
Yes.
But yeah, he's doing the test with Dr. Wyzak, and he can remember things, but he has some things that are just like blocked in his mind now. He has trouble seeing like numbers. He has trouble with like street signs and things like that, and he calls those the dead zone in his brain. There's just a part of his brain where some information has been lost.
Yeah. And there was, does he tell the doctor does he see the
That's
doctor's
when we get
thing?
the mother's picture, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because he wants to do something nice for Sam Wyzak, because Sam's been doing so much for him. So he feels like he's going to do him a favor. And so he touches him, and he sees the picture, and he tells him, "Oh, the boy is alive. The boy is all right." And he tells Sam basically like his whole backstory of how when Sam Wyzak was just a very young child, his mother in Nazi-occupied Poland had to make a decision to give her son up to be taken out of the country before it was taken over by the Nazi forces. And Sam always assumed that his mother died there. But in fact, she didn't. She was able to escape the country and now lives in California under a different name with a whole different family. And Dr. Wyzak, of course, is like, "That's insane."
Right. No, she died.
There's no way you could know that. My mother
Yes.
died. You know, this is the story I've had my entire life. And Johnny's like, "Nope, here's her name. This is where she lives. Give her a call. I'm doing something really nice for you now."
Yep. Yep.
And so Sam calls and hears the voice, doesn't talk to her, but tells Johnny, like, "Yeah, you know, what am I going to tell her? Like, hey, I'm your son that you gave up, you know, 50 years ago. Like, nothing would come from that."
Yeah. Or it would, and it would ruin her life.
Yeah.
And the new life that she's built
Yeah.
with this other family. So he had to make a choice to either drag her into his life or not, and he chose to let her be.
Yeah. And so Johnny kind of realizes that this thing that he thought he was doing him like a favor actually was just kind of like a burden he has put upon him now.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's kind of a reoccurring theme we're going to see.
And then there's another instance where he can see, like, his rehab, his therapist, his PT doctor, somebody, he can see that her house is going to be on fire.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah,
That
he's doing
also
his physical
is
training, and he says, "Oh, there's still time, you know, your house is
Yeah.
on fire." She doesn't believe him, so he like lurches on his crutches over to the nurse's station and calls the fire department himself, and so they're like, "What's your address?" and sends him there, and of course it is on fire, and everyone's just looking at him like he's a monster now. Like,
Yes.
like he caused the fire somehow, you know?
Yes.
It's the thing where no one wants to be told bad news, and if you're the one telling it to them, they're going to blame you for it.
Yes. And so those kind of little events start to escalate, and then it was, they had intended to keep it very hush-hush, not, because the fact that he woke up after 4.5 years from a coma was already very newsworthy.
Yeah, he'd had a reporter come to visit him already, David Bright from the Bangor Daily News, who just wanted to do a story about a man who came out of a coma. And he had heard some rumors about he might also have something else going on with him, but Johnny didn't want to talk about it. The guy's like, you know what, the coma story's enough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about any of that.
Yeah.
But now all these people saw him basically predict this fire, and so now he has to talk about this. So they do a press conference, and there's this one reporter who's just a real dick.
Yeah.
And his name is Roger Dussault. And he's like, okay, if this is real, then why don't you do it to me, hotshot, huh? If you can read the future, then tell me my future, huh? And he gives him this medal that he has, and Johnny just devastates him.
Yes. Yeah. About his dead sister,
His
I
dead
think, or
sister
something
who
like
was
that.
like addicted to heroin, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you gave this to her to protect her. You said it's from when you're crossing the street, sis, and then she died from heroin, and you miss her every day.
Yeah.
And the guy's
Whoa!
and the guy's like, you're a monster.
Yeah. And so so we had a bunch of chapters where we're watching Vera, like during his coma, she's just going insane, and was like starting to plan this trip to go out to the raptured cult out in California or
like Montana or something. Yeah.
And to go be with them when it all happens. And she was preparing to go. They were saying, her health started failing, because she wasn't taking care of herself the whole time that she's been praying and getting crazy and all of the things. And like Herb is like very like, just stop, what all that. But then she sees the news story.
Well, the last straw for Herb was he caught her trying to like send like all of their money to
Yes.
this organization. He's like, listen, you do what you have to do for yourself, but do not drag me down with you.
Yes. So they're very in a rough spot.
And once Johnny's awake, she's supposed to be put on these blood pressure medications, but
That's
she doesn't
right.
like them because they make her not feel good.
Yeah.
And so she just thought, she's like, you know what? If Jesus wants me to take medicine, he would have given me medicine fake. So whatever justification she had, she just stops taking them. She's like,
Yeah.
God will take care of me. I believe that. And so she's not taking her medicine.
No.
She's got all kinds of health issues going on, and then she sees Johnny on the news.
And then that finally gives her a heart attack, and she just unceremoniously dies.
Well, not yet. She has a heart attack. She's in. So Johnny gets a phone call from the Cumberland. Where is it? The Cumberland. The Cumberland. It's the Cumberland Medical. It's the Cumberland Hospital. It's the same hospital that everyone went to in Salem Slot. It's the exact same hospital.
Yeah. With
So-
2 G's?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Wyzak drives Johnny to the hospital,
Yeah.
and he sees his mom one last time. And she tells him, do your duty, John. Don't run away from it.
That's
Don't
right.
hide.
Yeah.
God put you here for a reason. God brought you back for a reason. Do your duty. I'm dead. Bye.
Yes. But it was so unceremonious in relation to how big of a character they built her up to be.
Yeah.
But also in relation to the other zealot mothers we have met in other books.
Yeah, we spend so much. There are so many scenes dedicated to just Herb and Vera, and Herb just having the patience of a saint with his wife, just losing her mind. In the first half of this book.
Yes, so much.
And you're like, Herb, just let her go, man.
Yeah. She didn't even turn into a vampire or anything. She
Yeah.
just died. She just died from natural causes. And then like the only thing that came back is that Johnny kept reminding himself that he had a duty to do. So that's what kind of helped motivate him through the rest of the book. And so that comes back later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vera's dead. Johnny's on a mission now. And then we cut to another Greg Stilson scene. Greg is mayor now.
Yep.
And he's meeting with a man named George Harvey's nephew. George Harvey is some big, powerful mover and shaker in this town. And his nephew's in trouble because he's wearing a shirt that says, "Baby, let's fuck." which feels so novel.
Quaint.
Yeah. I'm like, I could walk into any high school in America right now and see that shirt 5 times.
Yes.
But this guy was wearing it in public, and so he got arrested, and George doesn't want him to be taken to jail. He's like, Greg, you're good with these kids. You know how to talk to them. You're a psychopath.
Yeah.
Can you deal with this? And Greg's like, I got this, George. I'm the mayor. I'll take care of this. And Greg's idea is I'm going to break a glass bottle and hold it to this kid's chest and threaten his life.
Yep.
That's how you get through to the youth today.
Yeah.
And Greg, like, as he's like trying to be like threatening to him, he like almost goes into like a red, like blinding rage and cuts the kid. And he's like, man, this kid doesn't know how close I was to just killing him here. He's like, I am really almost out of control. But he's moving up. His political ambitions are coming true. People like him. He's very charismatic. And he now has Sonny Elliman and his biker gang working as like for him.
Right.
And he started this thing where they talk about where when they arrest people for like drug charges, instead of putting them in jail, they make them clean up the city.
Right.
That's like his big thing. And people love it. People think it's
Yes.
great. It's such a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's definitely in their favor, but something is lurking under the surface with him.
Yeah. And then we get a scene where Walt and Sarah read the news article about Johnny, about the press conference and everything, and about what happened with the reporter. And Walt's like, this is a great angle he's doing here. This is a great little trick where he can probably sell a book or something, make some money to pay his medical bills. And Sarah's like, Johnny's not a liar. He wouldn't do a trick.
Yeah.
And Walt's like, whatever. And Sarah's like,
and Walt's her husband, in case we didn't say that out loud.
And Sarah's like, I'm going to go have sex with him then. And I'm taking the baby with me.
Yeah. So they have been, because Sarah and Johnny had been writing letters to each other from time to time. And then there was this kind of like tense, like, okay, she wants to come visit.
Yeah.
Now, depending on what time she comes to visit, will depend on what she wants from me.
Yeah,
if she
he like
comes
tells
late,
her in a letter like, Dad gets home around 5.
Yes. So if she shows up around 5, she doesn't want to fuck. If she shows up anytime before 5, she wants to fuck. And she shows up at like noon.
Yeah.
And so we can start to hear the porno music in the background of our minds.
But she brings the baby, and Johnny's like, oh, a baby. And she's like, oh, he naps. He naps real good. And then they go and have barn sex, which for a man who like can barely walk seems unnecessary.
But horny.
Yes.
So you do what you gotta do.
And it gets described in just enough detail for Stephen King.
Yep.
I think it's like 2.5 times they do it.
Yeah.
Which, if you didn't make him climb that ladder, you probably could have got that third one.
Yep.
I'm just saying, that took a lot of energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they have dinner with Johnny's dad, and Johnny's dad is like, clearly I know what happened here.
Yes. Like,
he's like, so you guys had a pretty good visit, huh?
it's like your clothes are on inside out and your tags on the front. I'm like, okay, I get it. No. But what was really interesting to me through the rest of the book, and I don't think it's a spoiler to say that nothing happened. Like, you figure, because another horror trope sometimes is like a horrible consequence coming to fruition or whatever. Like the one time a good person does something bad, then there's going to be a consequence for it. But she didn't get knocked up.
Yeah.
She didn't nothing. The
her husband didn't show up.
Yeah, in the
like,
middle
hey,
of it. Like there was
I'm sorry we fought.
Yeah, they just got to like have their one time that they didn't get to have.
Made up for the night that they didn't get to have because of that damn hot dog.
Yes. Different hot dog.
and then Herb made hot dogs for dinner. How dare he? But yeah, so then we get the Roger Dees visit, which I love. Roger Dees is from Inside View, which is like their version of like the National Enquirer.
Yeah, their
those
tabloid.
Magazines, the tabloid magazines from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. My stepmother loved those magazines. Whenever I would go to my dad's house, there would just be a stack of them. And Roger Dees wants to give Johnny a job to be their on-call psychic who writes an article every month where he like people send in items to them and he writes about them. And Johnny's like, well, it doesn't work that way. And Roger's like, it doesn't matter. Write whatever you want. You don't even have to write it. We'll write it. Just put your name on it, man. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
And Johnny, like, even though he's like still crippled, just kicks him off of his porch, kicks his ass across the lawn, kicks him back into his car and sends him back to New Jersey or wherever he's from.
Yeah. It's like Sarah's like the only one that doesn't think that he's pulling people.
Yeah. Roger Dees shows up again in another Stephen King book.
Ah.
Yeah, we are not done with Mr. Roger Dees. He
That
shows
is-
up in a short story called The Night Flyer, which is in the book Nightmares and Dreamscapes.
Cool.
So, and he's still just a piece of shit.
Good. Good.
But he gets his comeuppance, I will say that.
But it is very real, like all of the times that he gets propositioned for a way to make money, like kind of illegitimately, because everybody knows he has medical bills.
Yeah.
It's a very
Yeah.
recurring thing that people are trying to take advantage of that.
Because he's getting all these packages and letters. He talks about he keeps getting letters from people and packages from people who want him to help them with things. You know, family members have gone missing, want to know if people are cheating on them, want to know how somebody died. Like, the thing that he keeps talking about is like, the people who know what he can do is real don't want to know anymore.
Yeah,
Because
right.
once they find out the truth, they don't want to know the truth. And the people who don't believe what he can do are the people who are trying to get him to do it. You know,
Yeah.
nobody actually wants to know the truth. Every time he actually reveals something to someone, it never ends well.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
just like with Dr. Wyzak, when he finally actually knew his mom was there, it wasn't the good thing Johnny thought it was going to be. And so he doesn't want to use his powers. You know, he's going against
Yeah.
what his mom said. He wants to just hide out in his cabin. He wants to go back to teaching.
Yes.
You know, the principal came when he was in the hospital and offered him his old job back.
Yeah.
And Johnny's like, that's all I want to do. I just want to teach.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to being goofy old John Smith. But after this whole incident, you know, the board of trustees or whoever were like, we can't have him be a teacher.
Yeah. That was devastating to like, because they just like sent him a letter,
Yeah.
didn't they, or whatever, where
No, they didn't even send him a letter.
No.
The principal wrote him a letter and telling him like, hey, I fought like hell against this, and you know, I almost quit also, but I've got a family. Like,
Yeah.
Anyways, they're not going to let you go be a teacher. If I'm trying to get them to change their minds, but it's not going to happen.
yeah.
So he's just kind of stuck out here in the wild with
So
his
he
dad.
lost his love, he lost his job, like
Lost
just
his mom.
lost his mom.
Yeah.
A lot of things are
He's
happening.
a country song.
Yep.
And then we get another Greg Stilson scene. He's now running for the House of Representatives, and he's blackmailing a banker to bankroll the whole thing.
Great guy.
Because that's how he does business.
Great guy. Again, still surprised he's not the grifter from the other
Yeah.
parts of the story, like because he's such a good grifter.
Exactly.
And
And then we finally go back to our Castle Rock story.
yes,
Sheriff Bannerman comes to visit Johnny. He says, hey, I can't believe I'm doing this.
yep, the trope. This is
Yeah.
also a trope.
But if what they say about you is real, I think I could really use your help.
Yeah.
Because we have this killer who's been killing people in my town for the last 6 years, and now he killed a little girl.
Yep.
And that's too much for me. So whatever I can do, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, because didn't he also have a daughter or something like that? And
Yeah,
kinda
we
just
find
got
out a
real-
little bit later that his daughter was walking with the girl,
That's right.
and then the girl went back by herself, and that's when she got taken.
Yeah.
And Johnny's like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of this. I don't want to use my powers. You don't understand. Anytime I do this, it doesn't work out well. Go home.
But there's always, again, the trope of the cops are desperate.
Yeah.
They're reaching out to the local psychic to see if they can get some help.
But then Johnny, he does some research. He goes to the library and reads about all these cases that happened while he was in his coma, and you know, realizes like the human impact of this,
Yes.
and you know, kind of pictures his mom and what she would want him to do, and he's like, God damn it! All right, I'm gonna go eat a bowl of chili. So he and Bannerman go and meet at the chili restaurant and
Yep.
have the best chili there is, and Bannerman walks him through the case and everything, and that's when we find out that his daughter almost was taken also, and then they go to the town, and of course the reporters are all there, and they all know who John Smith is, so now it's a big spectacle, and so they all follow him to this area in the town where the kid was taken, and Johnny's kneeling down and picking up cigarette butts and everything, and he's kind of getting visions, and he figures out who it is.
And it's like a friend of theirs or something. Like it's somebody.
One of the deputies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
And he tells Bannerman, it's your deputy. It's Frank Dodd. It's this guy who we just talked to 10 minutes ago. And Bannerman's like, no. That guy's like a son to me. He eats dinner at my house every Sunday. You're wrong. You're a fake. You're a fraud. Get the fuck out of here. He hits Johnny.
Yeah.
Knocks him down. Johnny's like, I told you this was going to happen, man.
And then again, the whole time Jill's like, okay, so not Greg Stilson.
He takes his mask off. It's been Greg Stilson all along. When are they going to get to the firework factory? But Johnny's like, okay, well, tell me about Frank Dodd. And they start talking about it. And he's like, well, Frank Dodd wasn't even here for 2 years. He was in Colorado doing police training. And he's like, well, did you call Colorado and see if anybody died there? And they call Colorado. They're like, oh, yeah, a lot of people died those 2 years.
Like, son of a bitch.
So he's like, okay, I still don't believe you, but we'll go to his house and we'll ask.
Yes.
So they go to the house and they go inside and Johnny like touches his mom and he's like, oh my God, you knew about this and you've been helping him cover it up.
Yeah.
She has a heart attack, so now Johnny's just killing moms left and right.
Yes. Mom killer. Da 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 da.
They go up the stairs. They go into the bedroom. He's not there, and it's all decorated still like it was when he was a little boy. There's like Cowboys and Indians wallpaper.
Yeah.
It's a little twin bed with like toys on it and everything. Like his mom has kept him in a state of arrested development his entire life. And this is the same mom that put the clothespins on his penis when he was a little boy because she caught him masturbating.
Yeah.
Not a great life.
No.
And they go into the bathroom, and he's sitting on the toilet naked in his slicked raincoat with his wrist slit. And he wrote, I confess in his own blood on the mirror.
Yep. So
they got him. Good job, Johnny.
Yeah. Yep.
What a happy ending to that case.
Yep.
And then we get a bunch of Jill's favorite newspaper articles. Just kind of summarizing this section of the book.
Yes.
Johnny Smith, local psychic, solves murder. Walter Hazlitt, Sarah's husband, running for Congress. Just all these things sort of catching up what happens over the next year of everyone's lives.
Yep.
And we do kind of a time jump into the Laughing Tiger, which is the next half of the book.
Yep. And so this is where he has found a rich man who's also in the crony circle. Is he in the crony circle? The Chuck's dad, the guy.
He's familiar with Stilson.
Yeah.
He doesn't like him, but he's kind of fascinated with him.
Yeah.
So Johnny, at this point, doesn't know anything about Greg Stilson.
Right.
They've never interacted. They've never met each other. He's not on his radar. So yeah, he goes to work for Roger Chatsworth, who's a very rich man. He owns like a textile mill or something. A lot of textile mills in Stephen King books. And he goes to work for him because he has a son, Chuck, who is this very, handsome jockey senior in high school who has everything going for him except he can't read.
Nope.
And Roger's very embarrassed by this because if he can't read, he can't go to college. If he can't go to college, he can't take over the family business.
Yep.
And so they want Johnny Smith to help him learn how to read. And so Johnny does, because Johnny's a good teacher.
Yeah, he's a good teacher.
It's his favorite thing to do.
Yeah, and he does a great job and finds out that the kid, Chuck, can read. It's just he's horrified by his dad.
Yeah, he's just, all this pressure is putting like a mental block on. Like Johnny does like research, like he does, and figures out kind of what it is. And he's teaching him. And the book they're reading is Firebrain by Max Brand. And I did some research on this. It's a book, it's a Western about a successful businessman who hires a gunslinger to come to town to help him deal with some, bad guys that are trying to take over the town, which is very much like the same situation of what Roger Chatsworth is doing here.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we meet another character, the exchange student that is also there.
Yeah, there's the I think Nyo, I think is the pronunciation of that, who's kind of the caretaker for the yard, who's an immigrant who is taking immigration classes so that he can become a naturalized citizen, and he and Johnny become friends.
And I thought more was going to happen with him and didn't. He was just,
it feels like it.
Just there to offer just like a different perspective of.
Well, he tells Johnny about the Laughing Tiger game.
That's right, yes.
Which is a sort of metaphor that kind of becomes comprehensive for this section of the book. The Laughing Tiger game, he tells him, was a game they played when he was being raised in Vietnam, where the child who is the tiger, they chase the other children, and you're a tiger, so you're laughing the whole time because it's a game, but you're also a tiger, so it's also very serious. And Roger introduces Johnny to the idea of Greg Stilson. They're watching the news together, they're having some beers, after they're talking about Chuck and the success he's having with him. And he's like, oh my God, have you seen this guy? Greg Stilson, he's running for the Senate now. He's this House of Representatives guy. He wears this hard hat. He does push-ups on stage. He's a total joke, like. But you know, people love him. He's the man of the people, and he does things unlike anyone else. He brings a sledgehammer out on stage, and he's just a total clown. But you know, he's got a good chance of winning. So you got to kind of buddy up with guys like this if you want to do business. You know.
Right.
And so Johnny, in New England here in Vermont, you know, it's the primary season. He kind of starts this thing where he just, on his weekends, he goes to these political rallies. And he doesn't admit it to himself, but he's doing it because he wants to shake hands with these politicians. He wants to kind of see what they're about. And so you get him, he says a lot of them he doesn't get anything. But like he meets Jimmy Carter, and he shakes his hand, and he says, you're going to win. You know, it's going to be close, closer than anyone thinks, but in the end, you're going to win. And Jimmy Carter's like, thanks.
Yeah.
You get a scene in there where he meets a man named Sarge Shriver. Sarge Shriver, who is a real politician. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger's father-in-law.
Oh.
Yeah, of the Kennedy family.
Okay.
Who was a real, very popular politician in the 1970s.
Okay.
Yeah, Stephen King at this point was good at writing like actual real-world events into his stories better than he gets, I think, later in life.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
So he does finally shake his hand then at
He does.
something.
He goes to a Stilson rally, and he's like, I'm not even going to touch him. I don't want to. That's not why I'm here. He's lying to himself.
Yeah.
But he kind of gets pushed by the crowd into Greg Stilson, and they kind of bump into each other, and he touches his arm, and he has this vision, and it's unclear to him because he's seen it through this like blue and yellow stripes, and he can't tell what that is, but he sees just like nuclear Armageddon. And his interpretation of that is that if this man wins this election, at some point in the future, he's going to be responsible for some sort of nuclear war.
Yeah.
And Greg feels something too. Like they lock eyes, and then one of Sonny Element's thugs just hits Johnny over the back of the head with like a club or something, knocks him out. Johnny wakes up in the police station with like the police chief and an FBI agent there, and like, you shouldn't be fucking with these guys. Like, these are serious people, and now you're on their radar. Don't come to any Stilson rallies anymore. Stay away. We knew who you are, so they knew who you are too. Yeah. By the way, this FBI agent's going to be killed in like 5 pages.
Yeah. Yup. I remember that too. So, whoops.
Yeah. So then Chuck, good old Chuck, who now knows how to read, so he's perfect, is about to graduate. And guess where they're having the graduation party, Jill?
At
Kathy's Roadhouse.
The place.
You remember that place from 400 pages ago?
That Greg Stilson did not visit?
Greg Stilson did not try to sell lightning rods to?
So we know that the place apparently is a fire hazard. There's a storm a-brewing.
So Johnny is introduced to Chuck's girlfriend, who Chuck is very proud reads books.
Yeah.
She's brainy. She's not like the other girls. And when he touches her hand, he sees a vision of a building on fire and kids just screaming and dying. And it's at Kathy's Roadhouse. And he's like, oh, guys, can't have that party. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna be struck by lightning. It's gonna burn. You're all gonna die. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, Roger, you know who I am. You know my reputation. You researched me before you hired me. You know this is real. And Roger's like, I hired you despite that, not because of this, but I'll humor you. Let's go to Kathy's and talk to him. And so they go to Kathy's, They talk to the guy, and they're like, just cancel it. He's like, listen, I already booked the DJ.
Yeah.
I already bought all the meat. I already got all the booze. I got a band to hire. I'm going to lose $1,000 easy if I don't do this party. He's played by John Travolta in my mind.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
From Carrie.
Yes.
And he's like, besides, the guy was in here years ago, sold me lightning rods up the ass.
Yes.
We're completely covered. And they walk out, and they're like, there's no way we're going to convince that guy. And they turn around, and Roger's like, no lightning rods.
Yeah.
So instead, Roger's like, you know what? Let's just have a party at our house. Just tell all your friends they can just come to our house instead. It's almost big enough to be called Chapel Waite. Not quite, but nearly. So like half the class comes to the Chatworth's house and just comes to this house party instead, but half of them still go out to Kathy's Roadhouse. And so Johnny and Roger are just like playing cards, listening to the radio, waiting for the inevitable.
Yep.
And sure enough, here comes a report. There's a fire. It's at Kathy's Roadhouse. And they go upstairs, and someone's like, what is it? And as soon as they tell him, one of these kids go, "You're a monster like in that movie Carrie." And that's my least favorite part of this entire book. It's one of the few times I can ever remember Stephen King referencing one of his other books.
Being that
in his
meta.
books. Yeah, being that meta.
Yeah.
He loves, I love it when he references in-universe things that are happening.
Yes.
I can't imagine him ever doing that again, being like, it happens in the movies a lot.
Yes.
But just being like, "You're that girl from Carrie."
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like, "We need to go to the hospital. They're going to need a lot of blood and everything." And yeah, a lot of people died. And Roger's devastated. He's like, "I could have given the guy $1,000. I could have just written a check. I could have bought out the whole night. Why didn't I believe you? Why didn't I believe you?"
Yes.
And Johnny's like, "Because this is my fucking curse, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the boy who cried wolf, but there is a wolf."
Yes. Yep.
And then we get more letters. News articles and letters, and Johnny just hit the win, and you get letters from like Roger being like, "Hey, I'm sending you a bunch of money. This isn't guilt money. This isn't a payoff. I want you to have this. You deserve it. Please cash this check, or I'm just going to keep sending you checks."
Yeah.
And you get letters from Chuck being like, "Hey, my dad said you're not taking his money. Please take the money. By the way, I'm going to Stovington Preparatory Academy," which is where Jack Torrance taught The Shining.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just, we get all those catch-ups there. You get some newspaper articles. That's where you get the newspaper article about Agent Lacty being killed by a dynamite bomb. The FBI agent that Johnny talked to after the Stilson rally. And we find out that Greg Stilson's influence in the House of Representatives has started to grow. He's kind of started his own like political party, like the Stilson Party. Based on these like ideas of like America first and anti-immigration and things that all start to feel very familiar in today's political climate. And this book was written 50 years ago.
Weird.
Yeah.
We never learn.
And Johnny has been pondering this question over the last year while he's been working for the Chatsworths. If you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you? Because he started to realize now with his power, he not only has the power to see the future, he has the power to change it. Something he wasn't sure of until this incident. Because he didn't know before if, things that he was seeing were just predestined to happen and he was just powerless, he just had to stand by and watch them. Or if once he knew they could happen, he could alter the course of history.
Is that what they revealed the dead zone was? They mentioned it in the movie that like the dead zone, the things that he couldn't see were the things that he could affect or whatever, and that's why he couldn't see them, maybe? Is that ever really talked about?
In the book, the dead zone is just the things he can't see in his mind.
Okay.
The movie does a different thing with it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. But
so he's asking all these people. He asks, Dr. Wyzak. He asks Roger Chatworth. He asks Chuck. He asks, his dad gets married to a woman. We go to a wedding.
Yeah, he was doing handyman work. Just a porno movie. Just a porno movie happening in this woman's house.
He's spending a lot of time.
Yeah.
And he asks her dad, who's like this 96-year-old World War I veteran, and he's like, "I'd take this knife and I'd stab it in his heart and I'd twist it sideways." And he asks Dr. Wyzak, and Dr. Wyzak gives, this like, I'm a doctor. I take a Hippocratic oath where first do no harm. I'd kill him real good.
Yeah.
And then Johnny gets some bad news, and we don't find out what that bad news is, but all Stephen King says in the book is, and then he found out that he didn't have much time left.
Yep. Yeah, so this is kind of, then it's like the snowball rolling down the hill to the rest,
then you
to
just
the end
get
of the book.
Johnny preparing for war.
Yeah.
We get just like 4 scenes in quick succession of like, here's Johnny going and buying a gun. Here's Johnny going and buying a case. Here's Johnny buying a train ticket. Here's Johnny buying the,
Yes.
he's just preparing things.
So he's following he's asking around trying to figure out Greg Stilson's like campaign path and is working his way to go to one of them to go assassinate him.
He does. Greg Stilson does this thing, the tour of New Hampshire, where he goes to all these little towns, and we go to this Timsdale pub, and meet this guy named Dick O'Donnell, who's the pub owner, who loves Greg Stilson. He's got a picture of him up, next to the president. He's got like an autographed program from him, and he's like, "Oh, Greg's the best guy in the world," And he's like, "Oh no, here's the program." He goes to all these towns, and he lets you talk about all your problems and everything. And he comes every 6 weeks like clockwork, and gives Johnny the schedule, so he knows where he's going to be. He knows when he's going to be there. So yeah, he goes to this town. He goes to Jackson City Hall. And the day before, he goes in to kind of case the joint, and he doesn't realize that it's also the DMV. And so there's a bunch of people there, including like police officers.
Yes.
And Johnny's posing as like a Time Life photographer. It's his cover story. He has a camera he doesn't know how to use. Yeah. And so he's just like walking around like...
like the camera's probably facing him.
Yeah.
Like
and this kid comes over, this like 18-year-old kid was like, "Hey, what kind of camera is that? I love cameras. Tell me exactly what that is and how you use it." And he's like, "Oh, not Nikon. It's the Nikon, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
6 or
picture
7,
kind.
Yeah."
It's a picture, takes pictures.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm with Time Life." He's like, "Oh, I'd love to get on them. Who do you shoot for?" He's like, "Everyone." All of them, all the people.
So smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth talking.
And then he fucks out of there real fast.
Yep.
But he goes back later that night and walks right in because it's the 1970s. Nobody locks a door anywhere. And he goes up onto the balcony above there, and gets all his stuff ready, his murder kit. Kind of lies down, takes a little nap. Then he gets woken up because Sonny Elliman and his goons have come in with the janitor to get everything ready and kind of do security for Greg because they're smart.
Yep.
And one of them starts to come upstairs. They're like checking the offices and everything. And Johnny's like, "Oh shit, I didn't think this was going to happen." But like just as they're going to open the door to the balcony, somebody's like, "All right, let's go get some beers."
Yep.
Crisis averted.
Yep.
And then we get the campaign.
Yep. And so it amounts to like people are there waiting for a very long time.
Yeah, everyone
There's
in
a lot
town
of,
comes in because everyone loves Greg Stilson.
and there's just a lot of like kind of waiting, anticipation. He's kind of sweating. Things are just in hold for a moment, and then Greg shows up. Big
fanfare.
Yes, and then I don't know what ultimately triggers his trigger, but he finds his moment where it's time to shoot. He misses.
Johnny's never shot this gun before in his life.
No. But then there's pandemonium, and lo and behold, that same kid, right? It's the same kid that he met, was there with his camera. He was there photographing the event.
Yeah.
And he catches a moment when this piece of shit, Greg Stilson, is realizing he's being shot at. He looks around, grabs a child, holds it in front of him like a shield.
And the kid is wearing a blue and yellow striped winter coat.
Yes, so there's those
Johnny
stripes.
looks down through the scope of his rifle and sees this blue and yellow striped coat and realizes that's the filter he was seeing his vision of Stilson through. The premonition of the Armageddon. He's like, "Oh, okay, this all makes sense now."
Yes.
And this kid takes a picture of that.
Yes, so the kid that he met that wanted to know about his camera
Yeah.
took the picture of Greg Stilson being a fucking coward.
Like the way they say, Greg turns and looks at the camera with the kid "Oh." And then the kid's like, "Dynamite." Because the kid tells Johnny before, he's like, "Man, I'd love to get a really great picture, like Iwo Jima or something."
Yeah.
And Johnny's like, "I think that was staged." The kid's like, "I don't care." And then the kid's like, "This is great. I got to get out of here."
Yeah, so kid runs off with the photo that's going to ruin his
Greg
life.
to his goons. He's like, "Get the fucking kid." They shoot Johnny a bunch.
Yes.
Johnny gets shot a bunch, falls off the balcony to the ground. He's dying. Greg comes over to him. He's like, "I know you. You're from that rally where that thing happened." Touches him. Johnny touches him, gets no vision from him. And he's like, "I did my job."
Yep.
He sees the tunnel again from when he came out of his coma. He's like, "I'm going to go the other way now."
Yep.
Out.
Yep.
And then we get more letters and newspaper articles. We get the congressional testimony of the kid whose name is
I want to say
Mr. Clausen. Clausen, yeah.
Okay.
So he's testifying before the Stilson Committee. of Congress, just like, they're like, why were you there with your cameras? Like, because I love cameras, I wanted to be famous.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yeah, you're pretty famous now.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, no, I just ran like crazy,
Yep.
as you're chasing me and everything. We get testimony from the doctor that Johnny went to see when he was living with the Chatsworths, who said that when he came in, they did like an ultrasound or a CAT scan and found a very large brain tumor that had been growing for years in him, that was inoperable and that was going to kill him within months, which is what prompted him to decide that this was necessary.
Yep.
You get testimony from Dr. Wyzak, who they're asking, well, do you think this brain tumor, made Johnny do this? And he's like, absolutely not. He was of sound mind. He did this because he decided this is what he had to do. And you get letters Johnny wrote to Sarah, to his dad, just kind of explaining why he did what he did.
Yeah.
And then Sarah goes to his grave and feels a hand on her shoulder. It's like the end of Carrie, but nice.
Yep. Yeah. And they said she said his catchphrase. They had a little catchphrase through the thing, the same old Johnny or whatever they would say. And so she got closure in a sweet way, and he got to be a hero, kind of. and yeah, that was a story that actually ended.
Yeah.
Like it didn't leave like and then there was still a vampire or whatever. Like it would just,
But then we find out Sarah's pregnant with Johnny's baby, and it has the power.
And it's a vampire. No.
I just love the idea of a world where this politician takes that picture and that ends their career.
Yeah.
Because I feel like now that picture gets put up on the news for 3 days, and just all the news agencies are like, well, actually, that child was a fake flag that was planted by the Democrats.
Yes.
We found his voting records, and he's a pretty bad agent, actually. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, again, quaint.
Yeah.
The things that got people in trouble in the 70s were things that we don't even blink at anymore. We don't have any standards for our professionals anymore.
The if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you question, that kind of consumes the last third of the book, is something that we talked before about ideas and books generating other books. He writes a whole book basically built around that question called 11/22/63.
That's that book.
Yeah, about a man who discovers a way to go back in time, and he decides to go back in time and try to save John F. Kennedy. And he does it over and over again, and it just keeps not working out for him over and over again.
Yeah.
And the lesson of that book is kind of that time is a thing that essentially you cannot mess with.
And I hate time travel.
Done cannot be undone.
Yeah. So it just doesn't, I can't wrap my head around it, even in a fantasy or sci-fi context. It's a story. I can't do it. I just can't.
I love time travel as a concept. I like good time travel stories. One of my favorite movies that I think I made you watch at one point is Primer. During COVID, did I make you watch Primer? About the two like engineers in their garage who are just trying to create like something new, and they accidentally create a box that can go back in time, and they end up just going further and further back.
You may have told me, but I did not watch it.
It's a super complicated movie that you have to watch like 4 times to actually understand what's happening, which is one of my favorite kinds of movies.
Oh my god. Who has time? I guess you do. I guess during COVID.
During COVID, we all did.
Yeah. I was watching Tiger King, so I was busy.
This book to me almost feels like a short story that just kept going.
Yeah.
It feels like any part of this could have just been its own little story.
Yeah, it was, and if we want to kind of talk about the movie too, like it was very episodic the way that it happened. It was almost like a Monster of the Week thing, where it's like, oh, here's a new problem, and this is how it got solved.
Yeah.
And then here's the next problem, but there is this overarching like big bad in the background that that will be the finale whenever you get to it, but you do the Monsters of the Week or whatever in between.
Yeah. So let's talk about the movie. So we watched the movie. The movie is directed by David Cronenberg, who I love.
I do now. I don't know if I knew.
David Cronenberg is kind of known as sort of like the father of body horror. A lot of his films in the 1980s and 90s were explicitly like movies that had a lot of physical horror to them, goriness to them. Things that he did, like The Fly, Videodrome. This is one of his tamer movies, although there is one very explicit body horror scene in it that sticks with you, I think. The movie, they cut out a lot of the early stuff. Yes. You don't get the ice skating scene. You get no Greg Stilson. in the beginning. We cut immediately to just Johnny's a teacher in the high school. Christopher Walken plays John Smith.
And I made a note that that I love him. He's he plays like a cross between like Rupert Giles, Anthony Stewart Head, and Bowie. He has like this beautiful, like just like British.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's British or not, but very in between. Like
he's a New Yorker.
Yeah.
But he gives a very ethereal quality that you also get a guy like. I'm so used to like older Walken where he's just sort of like the parody of himself.
Yes.
That I forget what a leading man he was in the 70s. Like he was a star. He just had that quality of like when he's on screen, you just want to watch him.
And that was like exciting for me because of everything we've watched so far. Like I guess Jack Nicholson was very great too as a leading man, but wasn't meant to be like a leading man.
So watching Christopher Walken in the first scene, he has this bowl cut haircut in the first couple of scenes before the coma, and he's reading The Raven to these very disinterested high school students. And it just reminded me of the Simpsons episode where they go to the book fair, which also features Stephen King. The one where Marge goes to Stephen King. He's like, Mr. King, what story of the Horde Macabre are you working on? He's like, oh, Horde doesn't interest me anymore. I'm writing a biography of Ben Franklin. Did you know he experimented on little animals and Green Mountain Men? And the key he attached to that kite was the key to the gates of hell. And she's like, all right, let me know when you get back to horror. And he writes a note that says, call Marge R.E. Horror. But then there's a scene where Marge is carrying Maggie and she goes, ooh, look, Maggie, there's Christopher Walken reading Goodnight Moon. And it's Jay Moore doing his Christopher Walken impression. And he's just going, good night, moon.
Yes,
good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over. Children, do not scooch away from me. I talked to you about the scooching. That's just all I could think about when he's saying, quoth the raven, nevermore.
Yes.
But then he starts talking about next they're going to be reading Sleepy Hollow. And that's funny to me because later Christopher Walken plays the Headless Horseman in Sleepy Hollow from Tim Burton.
Sorry, I just had... So I've been calling...
You just want to read that?
I had a note. I was prepping for my next thing that I was going to say, and I realized that there's two characters the same actress plays in the stuff that we watched. There's one Sally and one Sarah, and I couldn't remember which one was the Dead Zone one.
This is Sarah.
This is Sarah. I wrote Sally in my notes.
Show up again.
Okay.
So they jump straight to the fair then.
Yeah.
And there's no mask.
Yeah, they are in love with each other. Like this one, there's no hesitation. There's no background.
They've already done it.
Yeah, they do still refer to a thing that they left off on that they didn't get to do. They were like the one last time thing. Yeah.
But yeah, we go to the fair. They're on a roller coaster, but there's no Wheel of Fortune.
No Wheel of Fortune.
We don't do the Wheel of Fortune. We just get Johnny. He's kind of having a headache.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. So no hot dog.
No hot dog. No nothing. He takes Sarah home. He's in his little Volkswagen, and he drives home and
she's like, "Do you want to fuck?" And he's like, "Not tonight."
I got a headache. And then he drives, and there's like an overturned milk truck or something on the road. Yeah. And he just drives straight into it.
Yep.
And it explodes.
Yep. It was pretty cool.
And then we cut to Johnny in the hospital, waking up.
Yep. So we didn't have to deal with any of the 4.5 years.
Yeah, we cut the first 60 pages of the book.
Yep. So that was not addressed. I said same haircut for 5 years. It wasn't the same haircut though. We figured out.
No,
it
but
was a slightly different wig.
Hair,
yeah. I don't know what.
Like at some point, somebody was like, "No bowl cut for him."
Yeah. So do they cut people's hair when they're in comas? I don't
think you have to.
Or do they just let it go? I don't.
Well, okay, so. There's a South Park episode called Cartman's Incredible Gift, which is based mostly on the Dead Zone, but also kind of on the book Red Dragon, where Cartman goes into a coma after falling off a roof. And when he's in the hospital, when he wakes up, he has a big beard on.
Yeah.
Implying that it had grown because he'd been asleep for so long. But then when the doctor comes in, they say, "Nurse, take off that face warmer." And they just take it off of him.
Oh, okay.
So I guess there is a trope of people in comas just letting their hair and their beards grow out.
Yeah.
But I think normally you shave and haircut them and just tend to them as if they're a person.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I guess that would make sense. Anyway.
Yeah, and we're in the Wyzak clinic. We are not in a hospital. We are in the Wyzak clinic. Like, he's just been there the whole time.
Yeah, there's no... That's... Okay, that makes sense because I'm like, why does this hospital look like a house?
Yeah.
So, but it's because he's in a a different facility. Yeah. Okay.
And I noticed that Christopher Walken is great casting for this because young Christopher Walken just always looks pale and sickly.
Yes.
So, like, no makeup required at all for him.
Yeah.
He always looks like he just came out of a 5-year coma.
Yeah. You mean handsome and mobile. Yeah.
But he comes out, his parents are there, and he's like, Dr. Weisnick's like, you were in a terrible accident. You know, you're very touch and go, and you were incredibly damaged. And he's like, no bandages. How long was I out here?
Yes.
And his parents come in, and his mom's already a fanatic. She's like, oh, God saved you, God saved you. And it's like, shut up, Vera.
Yes.
And they tell him it's been 5 years.
Mm-hmm. And then the story becomes about him losing Sarah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thread through that, is that he's devastated that he lost her when their relationship was so strong.
And then they get right to the first vision. We get a nurse coming in, and he touches her, and immediately he's in a fire.
Yes.
He's in the house. He looks in the corner. There's a little girl cowering next to like a dollhouse.
They made a choice to, when he was having his visions, to not change any of the filming of it, so it all just looked like it was currently happening. Like, they didn't add like little cloud or fuzz or anything, so it just like, if I like walked away for a second and came back, I thought that would just be the next scene in the movie. And so it was an interesting choice. I always am interested how they do like flashbacks and dream sequences and things like that. And so this one was...
I liked it, and I think it really works really well later when we get to like the gazebo and stuff.
So yeah, there's a kid burning. He's like, "Fucking go," but then he also won't let go of her. He's like hanging on to her and being like, "Leave," and they're just standing there like this, and then
So yeah, he's like, there's still time, and you cut to a shot of them getting, pulling everything out of the house and everything. And then he's talking to Dr. Wyzak, and then immediately we get the second vision, which is suddenly Johnny's in World War II.
Yep.
And he's just watching tanks roll through Poland. And he tells him the thing about his mother and your mother, and she thought the child was alive, and she's in California, and you get the whole scene of Sam coming and telling him, I called and didn't say anything to her, and confirms it.
Yeah, it happened right away. There was a little bit more time in the book, but but I'm glad.
They do it very fast.
But again, it was very episodic. Like, everything just like started and ended in the movie.
And people are already talking about it, so then we just very quickly have a press conference. Johnny has to address this, and
then the mean guy.
And then you get the reporter, and this is our first mention of Greg Stilson in the movie. We get the reporter. He's like, okay, if you can tell the future, is Greg Stilson going to win his race? And Johnny's like, I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is. That's not how this works. Oh my God, I've been awake for 5 minutes.
I have to touch something to do anything. And the guy's like, fine, big man, touch me then.
He just cups his balls. No, that did not happen in the movie. I wonder if it's a different story, if it's a different body part. Because he does always like have their hands.
Yeah, he never tried.
Like, if you touch his butt, is it like a shit update? Don't know.
You're going to have a loose stool.
The butt zone.
There's I was going to watch it and I forgot. Right after the movie came out, he hosted Saturday Night Live, and they did a sketch that's just him having visions, but they're like very mundane things.
Yeah. Your dog is home. Okay.
So he has the press conference. So he does do the vision for the reporter guy, and it's very similar to what it is in the book about the sister.
Yeah, I think so.
And unfortunately, his mom was watching it.
Yes.
And she has her stroke.
Yeah, she's like, and then just dies in her house.
Yeah.
My husband was like, what? Oh yeah, she died.
No hospital visit for Johnny in the movie.
No.
We get no Roger Dees visit in this one. We then just cut, Johnny's living with his dad now, and that's when we meet George Bannerman, played by Tom Skerritt, who in the 1980s I pretty much only saw play police officers.
Yep.
He was great for it. You may remember, Jill, when you read Needful Things, the Castle Rock story, George Bannerman is not the sheriff in that. It is Alan Pangborn.
Yes.
That is because, spoilers for a book we've decided we're not going to read, George Bannerman dies in Cujo.
Oh.
He gets killed by Cujo.
Oh.
And so Alan Pangborn, in the intervening stories, becomes the sheriff
Gotcha.
of Castle Rock.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah. But no, he's here, and he shows up, visits Johnny, tells him, hey, we got a killer doing a lot of killing.
Yes.
Would you like to help with that?
All right, so next episode.
Yeah.
There's this guy, and
Johnny's like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Sarah to come visit.
Yeah, which she does.
Mm-hmm.
And it all that stayed pretty true to the book. She visited, she waggled her eyes at him. They did it.
Denny can take care of himself.
Yeah, Denny went for a nap. They waggled their eyebrows some more, and then they fucked on the floor in the living room, it sounds like.
Yeah, she didn't make him climb a loft.
Yeah. It was kind of her. And then Dad comes back, and they're all just like, what'd you do while I was gone? Me.
We get a mention of Charlene at the dinner.
Yes, so we know he's
been doing his own waggling.
Yep. Waggling.
And then we get the Castle Rock murder. Then we get the news report. And we were at 42 minutes in, so we're basically halfway through the movie here. Castle Rock murder.
Yeah.
And his dad's talking about how it's a terrible thing. You know, you were asleep for a lot of this, but this is just a terrible thing that's been happening there.
Mm-hmm. And so they
age the victim up in the movie. She's 15 in the movie.
Yes.
In the book, you know, it's like an 8-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't kill 8-year-olds in movies.
Yeah, that's not unless they're going to be a vampire or
That's
something.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, same trajectory as in the book. He goes back out to the gazebo.
There's the reporters all there.
He's trying to do the cigarette butts. He's like, no, I need to go literally where the body was.
Yeah.
And so they go all the way into the gazebo.
And if you notice when they're in the tunnel doing the cigarette butts, the actor playing Frank Dodd, he does a really good job of just like getting more and more nervous, just kind of in the background right behind Bannerman the whole time. I noticed on the second watch through that he's back here just being like,
yeah.
this fucking guy.
So he managed to get himself home. I don't know how much time passes during this.
He disappears during the gazebo while Johnny's having his visions. The actor playing Frank Dodd he's a Canadian actor, and he was David Cronenberg's first choice to play Johnny Smith. Mm-hmm. He was the guy who had worked with before, and he's like, this is my guy I want to get. And the studio's like, we don't know who that is.
Gotcha.
This has to be a star.
Yeah.
You could let him be Frank Dodd.
Yeah.
So they go to the gazebo. Johnny's like, I need to be the room where it happened. Mm-hmm. And he's down on his knees, and all of a sudden he looks up, and it's daytime, it's snow, and he sees a man in a slick raincoat standing there. Mm-hmm. And he's in his vision now.
Yep.
And we get the scene of Arlene, Alma Frichette walking across. He's like, Alma, come over here a minute. I got something to show you. And she comes over. We're not seeing his face. We're seeing it all from the back, from Johnny's perspective. And she gets up there. He's like, see this? And he opens his coat. And he's got his big scissors in there. Mm-hmm. And instead of running away, she's just like, knock it off.
Yeah. I wish I were that sassy.
And he kills her. But first we see her boobs because it's the 1980s and it's a horror movie, baby.
Also why she's aged up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, so they, he realizes it's him. He is vanished at some point. They go to the house.
Because Bannerman goes like, get him up here, Dodd, get over here, help me. And one of the other was like, Dodd walked away like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's when Johnny's like, it was him. You're too close to it. Frank Dodd. And Bannerman gives like some token resistance, like, no, you don't know Frank Dodd. But then he's like, okay, let's go ask him.
Yeah.
They don't do the whole protracted thing from the book. We don't have 10 minutes to call Colorado.
Yeah. So they go to the house, realize the mom knows, and they go and find him, and then we get to see the beautiful gore scene of him impaling himself on his own scissors.
Oh God, the way he just carefully like positions them on the sink with them open, and then you just get him opening his mouth and lowering it, and it's just like as it's starting to go into his nose, they cut away.
Yeah, so he kills himself with his own scissors, and
you get Johnny and Bannerman opening the door there, and he's in the tub, and then the body just gives a twitch.
Ugh.
He's not dead yet.
Ugh.
He did that all day. He put those scissors all the way into his brain, and he's not dead.
Yeah, that
twitch is beautiful. That's David Cronenberg body horror.
Right there. Yeah.
But then they come out, and Mrs. Dodd has taken Frankie's pistol
Yes.
and shoots Johnny.
Yep.
And Johnny turns, and Bannerman has his gun, and Johnny's
There's a lot
like...
of moms that accidentally show up with guns in the movies, too. So anyway.
And Johnny's like, no! And Bannerman shoots her dead. So now Johnny has killed 2 moms in the last, 15 minutes of this movie.
Yeah. And so that episode wraps itself up.
And that is at 56 minutes. So that effectively took about 15 minutes of the movie there to do the Castle Rock portion of it, that story.
Yep.
That
and
chapter.
so they set that away, and
So
then
now Johnny has moved. He's in this new house, and the first thing we see is a Greg Stilson billboard being put up across the road from his house.
Yep.
Really only the second time we've mentioned Greg Stilson. The entire movie takes place only from Johnny's perspective. It's something they do. Like the book, obviously we have so many scenes from Sarah's perspective, from Herb's perspective, from Sam Weisek's perspective. The movie, they decided to stick entirely with Johnny except for one scene, which we'll get to later. But I find that very interesting.
Yeah, and so we're watching kind of, Greg Stilson's build in passing at this point. And so he is now at the house tutoring. Do they still call him Chuck? I can't remember. But he's...
Well, the first person he's tutoring is a little girl.
Yes, that's right. And then meets Chuck's dad.
And then he meets with Roger, So, but we also get a Weisek visit in there where he talks about headaches, and Weisek's kind of telling him, there's a ticking clock, and Johnny's like, oh, you telling me I'm going to die?
Yeah.
Like, been there.
Yeah.
We get the packages and letters. He shows them, all these things people want me to do for them, and I can't do anything for them. I can't help them. I can't even help myself. And then we get Roger Stewart. They change his name to Stewart instead of Chatsworth, which I have no idea why. Maybe there was a famous Chatsworth person they didn't want to piss off or something.
Yeah.
And then finally, we meet Greg Stilson.
Yes.
And Sonny Elliman at Roger Stewart's house, because he is glad-handing him. He's going to do some sort of rally for him or a party for him or something. And he's meet Johnny Smith here. This is Greg Stilson, but they can't shake hands because he hands him a button instead.
Yes.
So they don't shake hands. They leave.
Yes.
And
then just of note with the kid, so I'm very fixated on the kid because it's not a high school senior that he's tutoring.
No.
It is a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
But
and he is not the charming, popular jock kid. He's a computer nerd.
Yeah, he's a nerd, and it's like, he can read. He's just socially...
He almost hires Johnny as a friend more than anything.
Yeah. And was, Johnny was very much like, well, I only tutor at my house. And he's like, well, no, you have to come to my house and win my son over.
Yeah.
And so they get along great, these two. So I love also the Stephen King trope of an adult with a kind of a wayward child of some sort that doesn't have parents or doesn't get along with their parents or whatever that is.
We find out that Roger actually hates Greg Stilson in the movie, but he explains to Johnny, with guys like this, you got to stay close to them because, if they lose, you don't want to be seen with them, but if they win, you have to be close enough to get what you need done. So it's all politics, And then we get the one scene that is not from Johnny's perspective, and that is Greg Stilson and Sonny Elliman blackmailing the reporter who's trying to run the story against them. And it is such a shift narratively to suddenly be in this dark room with these 3 men where Johnny isn't there that it feels like, oh my God, are we now just going to do a Greg Stilson movie for half an hour?
Yeah.
But they don't. They just do one scene.
Yeah. And
then we're right back to Johnny.
Yeah. And so, it's an interesting choice to do that there.
Yeah. You would have thought in the book we would have just had a few Greg Stilson scenes like Rule of 3 or something. Give me a couple of them instead of just one. Just jutted in there. Or
just that quick perspective of the house in the background and he's at the end of the sidewalk yelling at somebody at the end of the sidewalk and then they go on while they're still connected in the narrative or whatever. But anyway.
Then we get one of my favorite scenes, and it's the scene where Walt, Sarah's husband, comes to Johnny's door campaigning for Greg Stilson. Knocks on the door. Johnny answers, says, "Oh, have you heard of Greg Stilson?" And Johnny's like, "What do you think?" Points at the billboard. Says, "Oh, well, we have some literature I'd like for you to read. Hey, honey, bring over those brochures." And it's Sarah, and get the very awkward, "Oh, yeah, well, this is Johnny. Oh, Johnny, I've heard of you." And then you get little
Denny?
No, what? No, the kitty's tutoring.
Oh, I called him Chuck from the book, but I don't remember if that was his name outside in the movie. I didn't actually pay attention.
Yeah, I can't remember what they call him. Anyways, as these three adults are talking here, trying to make polite chit chat, he just comes up and he's like, "Come back, Johnny." And it feels so much like they were like having sex or something. Like I wish he had like a sheet around or something. "Johnny, what's going on? Come back to bed."
It was really weird.
And then he just stands there.
It's so
for
weird.
2 more minutes.
It was so weird. I just shut that out of my mind.
Oh no, that was front and present for me. It was hilarious. I like rewound it and watched it again. He asserts himself so boldly.
Yeah.
I guess Johnny's giving him confidence.
Yeah.
They're letting him go to Johnny's house,
Yeah.
They trust him.
Yeah.
But then you get the hockey. You get the hockey. Johnny, because then as soon as they leave, Johnny breaks down. He against the door, he's crying, and this kid's like, "What's wrong, Johnny? What's wrong? Did I do something?"
Yeah.
And Johnny hugs him, and all of a sudden Johnny's in the water.
Yes.
And he's seeing bodies just dropping through the ice, and they're wearing these Cleves Mills hockey uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just has no idea what's going on.
Uh-huh.
And so the Rolls Royce drives them back to the Stewart estate, and as they pull up, Roger is pulling these uniforms out of the back of this truck.
Yep.
And they say Cleves Mills hockey, and they're exactly what we thought.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't tell you I started a hockey team for my son so we can have friends." Isn't that a great idea? "Yeah, we got our first game later today. You should come."
Yeah.
And Johnny's like, "Oh, you can't do that."
Yeah.
And then we get the greatest delivery of any line in this movie.
Yeah.
"The ice has got to break."
Yeah, so this was the movie's interpretation of Kathy's Roadhouse.
Yeah, they didn't want to burn down a roadhouse full of high schoolers.
Yeah.
Cost too much money.
Yeah. But it also tied in the fact that he played hockey as a child
Yeah,
in
it's a
the
nice
book.
little nod to the opening prologue that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, so that's what ended up happening. And in this case, Roger said, "Yeah, we'll cancel it." And then Johnny goes home, and then he's like,
you
"Son,
cut to a
let's
scene
go
and
to
the son's on his computer. He's like, "All right, let's go play some hockey."
Yeah.
And the kid's like, "What are you talking about? You said it's canceled." He's like, "Oh, I was lying."
No, I was
Just to get
lying.
Johnny out of here.
Yeah, so let's go.
Are you going to play hockey with your friends, or are you going to sit there and mope on your computer? And the kid just goes.
And mopes on his computer. And then doesn't die.
And the next thing you see is Johnny picking up a newspaper, 2 dead in hockey accident.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine all that trouble and only 2 kids showed up to rehearsal to practice?
Well, I like to think more of them fell through, but only 2 of them died. Because the next thing we cut to then is Roger in his bathrobe, just sitting here drinking, just... And the phone's ringing, and he's just completely ignoring it.
And at that point, it was not 100% clear whether the son stayed home or not.
Yeah,
so we didn't know in that moment.
And so we're sitting here like, "Oh God, did Chris die?"
Yeah.
It is Chris.
Chris, okay, great.
And then Chris enters the scene, he looks at his dad, and he picks up the phone. "Johnny?"
And then Johnny can't say anything on the phone because I think he's just trembling with
he just was so terrified
emotion.
that Chris was dead, and so he just needed to make sure, and so he hangs up. That's the end of that episode.
Yep.
And then we get the Stilson rally, which conveniently is held across the street from Johnny's house.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to drive.
Yep.
No bus or anything.
Yep.
We get the handshake, we get the vision, and in this one, it's a whole scene.
Yeah, this one is it was like a 10-minute, no, it wasn't 10 minutes, it was like 4 minutes.
It felt like 10 minutes.
But again, in that same cinematic style. So again, if you walked away for a second and came back in, you're like, what the fuck movie is this? Because it's...
Is this the West Wing?
It's them in like a dark study.
It's the worst wing.
It's the worst wing. Oh, good pun.
It's Martin Sheen, who plays Greg Stilson.
Yeah.
In like these red and blue striped bathrobe, like silk pajama robe.
Yes.
And there's a big box with a big red button.
He's like, scan your hands.
Yeah, there's a man in a suit, a very scared looking man in a suit standing on the other side, and Sonny Elliman wearing a very cool like leather jacket and a tie.
As he would, yes. And so it's basically the vision of him like setting off the nuclear codes or whatever. And
it's like, scan your hand or I'll get someone in here who will. And the guy's like, Mr. President, you don't have to do this. I do. I had a vision. I saw a vision. I'm going to do this, and this is going to be great, and I'm going to do everything.
God, that he played crazy. So, like, maniac,
Maniacally? Yeah.
It was,
he eats the hell out of this scene.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell, like, this is the scene they sent him to get him to be
They're
in this
like,
movie.
okay, Mr. Sheen, you are in one scene in this movie, so you got to make it count.
Yeah.
He's like, can I be big? And they were like, how big are we talking?
Yeah. Big! If Walken's doing the ice is going to break, I got to top that.
Yes. And so, anyway, so that's the vision of him setting off the missiles and then laughing about it or whatever. And so that's when he knows that he's bad. Like, for reals. Like, he kind of assumes some negativeness about politicians, but they're in that
now
moment.
he's like, this has real consequences now.
All right, so now I got to do something.
And then we get the question. We get his meeting with Sam. Sam's telling him, you don't have a lot of time left. We've got the test results back. Things are bad. And Johnny asks, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you? And Sam delivers basically the same speech from the book. I'm a doctor. I'm sworn not to hurt people. I have to help people. That's the most important thing in the world. I'd kill the son of a bitch twice.
Yep. And so then
and that's where we get the only mention of the phrase "the dead zone." The things that I can't say are the things I can change.
Yes, which I appreciated that a little bit.
As opposed to some adaptations which make no attempt to justify the title at all.
Yeah, because otherwise the title just it really, even in the book, it still means nothing.
Yeah.
Like
this is also the scene where Sam Wyzak is the most Sam Wyzak from the book. Because he plays him much more stiffly for much of the movie. Like he's almost a combination of Wyzak and Brown. But as the movie progresses, he warms up to Johnny and gets more and more playful. And he's like the most playful here in this scene.
Yeah, and so
then we just have Johnny, who we don't see him going on his shopping spree like he's in the book. He just has a gun wrapped in a blanket.
Yep, and he's just sleeping in the balcony of the place that he's going to.
The way he gets into the town hall, he goes and he checks the door and it's locked. So he just goes and breaks a window. And he's in.
Yep.
It's the 70s. No one's going to check that.
Yeah.
We don't meet the photographer before. There's none of that scene or anything. And he's up in the balcony, he's kind of resting, and now it's just the rally. And guess who's coming to the rally? Jill? Because there's only 12 characters in this whole movie.
Yeah, his ex!
Oh no, and her baby. and he's wearing a little blue and yellow jacket.
Yep.
That's not good.
Yep. So they in the behind the scenes whatever, they're like, so instead of some kid, we made that kid Denny.
Yeah,
and
which I don't hate.
No, I don't hate it
gives
either.
it more emotional stakes for him. So the rally starts. Greg Stilson comes in here. Johnny rises, which, as he's crawling along the balcony, I'm just noticing there's so many gaps here between these banners.
It's a slatted balcony.
You don't have to stand up. You can just shoot through
He stood the
there.
fuck up, center stage, shoots the gun.
Sarah sees him and goes, Johnny! Like, hey, everyone!
The worst assassination. You could tell he hadn't practiced, honestly.
Yeah. He fires one shot, he misses.
Pandemonium.
Martin Sheen monkeys around.
Grabs.
He's forced Sarah to come up on stage with him. We get this ADR line that was added. It was like, oh, is this your baby? Come on up on stage with me.
Yep.
And so she's standing next to him. He rips the baby out of her arms.
Yes.
You get the kid taking the picture. Sonny Elliman shoots Johnny through the hand. Johnny shoots again. No, Johnny looks down, sees that it's the baby that he knows because it watched him have sex with his mom.
Yes. He didn't watch. He was napping.
Johnny
probably.
doesn't shoot again.
Yeah.
Sonny Elliman shoots him through the chest. Johnny topples over the balcony. Sarah runs over to him.
So they have their closure during this scene.
Martin Sheen says to the Sonny Elliman, go get that photographer. And Elliman goes, I didn't see nobody.
He turns on him.
Yeah, he's like, you just held a baby up to protect you from a bullet.
Yes, even the scumbag turned on him.
Even I think that's too far. I'm Sonny Elliman from the book.
Yep. Yep.
So and then Sarah's there with him at the end.
Yep.
And it's so quick.
Yep, and then
it's just
it is credits.
And because he touches Stilson one more time, and he sees a magazine cover, like Time magazine, of Stilson holding the baby up, and then you just get Martin Sheen putting a pistol in his mouth.
Yep. And that's how he ends
And then it's
him.
just Johnny going, bye.
Yep.
Roll credits.
Yeah, he's like, excellent. so it worked out great. Like, he fulfilled his duty, and you know, he was dying anyway.
He
so
killed Hitler.
That is probably one of the most affecting tropes to me, is the person finds out they're dying, so they just fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably, I'm like, if that ever happens to me, or when that happens, I don't know. Like, I would like to think that I would fucking go for it, you know. And I'm always so affected in those types of stories.
I've always said people are lucky I don't have a knack for like molecular science, because I think supervillainy would be in my DNA. Like, I want everyone to go out with me. Mainly because I just don't want to miss out on things.
Right.
You know?
You get FOMO too bad.
I don't like the idea of people continuing to do stuff once I'm gone.
Right.
No, this was a really good movie.
The
movie.
It
actually is a fairly faithful adaptation. They cut the things they needed to cut to make it a compelling story.
Yeah.
Because if you did the first half of this book, it would be my wife watching Salem Lots again. Like, I don't care about this.
Yes. And it turns out there were so many more characters that were the grifters the whole time they weren't Greg Stilson. The only other note I had written down is that he looks progressively like a vampire as the movie goes on, and they mentioned this during the little documentaries that I watched on the DVD after it too, where they're like, yeah, we noticed that Chris's, you know, his collar was going up through the movie, and they're like, you know, as his powers manifested and he was getting stronger and stronger, it kind of like made sense that he looked a little bit more like a villain, kind of, because he starts
floating 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Yeah. But it was
we just went with it. That was not special effects.
Yeah, no. But that was like they noticed it was happening and then just decided to not fix it and just let his collar be a character as well in it. Yeah. And so.
The episode of South Park I mentioned, Cartman's Incredible Gift, is kind of a combo, like I said, of this book and Richard Harris's Red Dragon, which is the book before Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
It's been adapted twice, first as a movie called Manhunter, and second as the movie Red Dragon. And I just have a distinct feeling that Richard Harris may have written that based in part on reading this and being like, this Castle Rock portion of this is the most interesting part of this book.
Yes.
What if I just read a book about a serial killer who is captured by a psychic, like, investigator character? Because that essentially is what Red Dragon is about there.
Yeah.
And there are so many similarities to that as there are in here.
Yeah.
Because Red Dragon came out, I think, 3 years after The Dead Zone came out.
Yeah.
And spawned 4 other books.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we have any sense of, anybody in the room, any sense of, like, when serial killer hunting movies, like, was it like Jack the Ripper? Like, I'm trying to think of like where in the history of like people's like true crime obsession like started. Is that Sherlock? Is it like, I'm trying to understand like where that
Silence of the Lambs swept the Oscars, and so many imitators came out after that. Like, that sort of started like the prestige serial killer as a genre.
And I guess that forensic like Mindhunter stuff.
Yeah.
John Douglas was he was writing a lot in the 90s on that profiling, criminal profiling, which has been a little debunked, but it was very, very popular. I studied it when I was studying criminology and in college.
Yeah.
I had to read a lot of John Douglas. But yeah, that sense of, we're going to get into the mind of a serial killer.
Yeah.
It was a very big trope for a while, too.
Reading this time through, I was like, what if instead of telling it from the perspective of John Smith, where you're only getting these glimpses at the serial killer and mostly just seeing everything from his perspective, what if you wrote a book from the perspective of the killer who's being like hunted by this psychic person, but you're all getting it from the serial killer's point of view, which is not what Red Dragon is. Red Dragon is told mostly from Will Graham's perspective, who is the police, the FBI agent who has, he's not psychic, but he has the ability to think like serial killers to the point where he might as well be psychic, you know?
Yeah.
And Silence of the Lambs also is told mostly from Clarice Starling's perspective.
Okay.
But then when they get to Hannibal, is told almost exclusively from Hannibal Lecter's perspective, and it is by most people's accounts, the worst book of that series
Yeah.
until you get to Hannibal Rising. So there is something to be said by keeping the killer mostly hidden and
Right.
their motivations clouded and only learning them through the investigator's eyes instead of just being
Yeah.
like, I'm the killer and here's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta keep that mystery there
Yeah.
to make it compelling.
Yeah. 'Cause
I also wonder though what it would be like to have a book like this where you told it all from Greg Stilson's point of view, because we didn't mention it when we were talking about it before, that we get a big info dump while Johnny's doing his campaigning, where once he touches Stilson and has his vision, where he goes to the library, one of Jill's favorite tropes,
Yes.
and he does a deep dive on this guy, and we learn Stilson's entire background. We learn about his early life. His dad was a piece of shit. Then he died. He was raised by his mom, who wasn't great. He worked as a dowser, a water diviner who could go out and call the water, call the rain, like a rainmaker. And he was one who went hired by this cattlemen's association in Oklahoma to make it rain.
Yeah.
And he did, and then they didn't pay him because they were like, well, it was going to rain anyway, so you didn't do anything.
See, this is why I thought it was all the same character, because
Yeah.
it was all the same kind of
Yeah, he was a
shyster
grifter,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he effectively, like, instead of like taking the court or anything, he like went to the court of public opinion. He like took out a newspaper article and was like, hey, if they don't want to pay me, I guess that's on them. If they want to risk like having it never rain again, and ended up making more money that way than they were going to pay him in the first place.
Yeah.
And he like and you learn all these really compelling things, and I'm like, well, that could have been a cool book. And then he meets this psychic guy who's like gonna fuck up his career. Like that could be a fun story.
Yeah.
That could have been a completely different book.
Yeah.
But that's not the story he wanted to tell. He wanted to tell us about
Yeah.
John Smith, who spends most of this book hating the fact that he has these powers and not wanting to use them.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, as much as I liked watching the movie, I felt really unsatisfied at the end of the book. There was something, I think it was just like all of the...
No one ever appreciates what Johnny does.
Yeah.
And he dies,
Yeah.
no one is ever going to know what he did.
Right.
Even though he writes his letters. The whole point of his
Yes.
letters is like, you're never going to know what I did for you. He's basically like Jesus on the cross for himself. Like,
Yeah.
you have no idea how good a guy I was.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, hopefully somebody will write my story. But I think what it was is that he kept setting up all of these dominoes for something that he knocked down something else.
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting a botched assassination attempt to be the end of the story. And I don't
Yeah.
know. There was just something really unsatisfying. I don't know what it was, or if it was...
So Stephen King has talked about, initially he was going to have Johnny just shoot Greg Stilson, but he decided very quickly that he didn't want to do that because he didn't want anyone ever to use that as motivation to
Right.
shoot someone.
Because the rage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
So he gave himself the task of finding a different way for Johnny to win, rather than having him shoot him.
Yeah.
And that's where the child shield comes from.
Yeah, which that's so clever, so funny.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. But there was just something about just the overall, like what was all the other story for? Like maybe it's like how we talked about how they could just be different books. Like they.
I think the point of it is just like he has this power and he has to use it because he has it. Like his mom said, like you're there for a purpose.
Maybe I just wanted to see the cult that his mom joined or something. There's just something just a little.
And again, it
Inside.
kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning about like powerful forces being taken off the board because they're there for a purpose. I think part of it is like he was there for a purpose. And he was kind of like a Jonah character trying to run and hide from what he was supposed to do. And instead, he finally realized like, no, I have to do what I know I have to do, even though it's not something I
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what else I was expecting, but I remember being at the end and being like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
Jahoobies.
He got to have sex with Sarah. What more do you want?
So yeah, but in general, like I have positive experiences of it. If I were like, if you want to read a kind of complicated story that doesn't have that much horror in it,
Yeah.
this would be, a good one. If you want to just watch like humans being monsters, there wasn't, the only magical element was like him. Everybody else was just people.
Yeah.
So, oh,
People being people.
people being people. Peep gonna peep.
And with that, this has been Dead Wives and Kids with Knives.
Yay!
We'll see you next time where we are reading Night Shift.
Yay!
So many stories.
So many stories. Yay! Bye.
Dead Wives and Kids with Knives is produced by Cody Lindenberger, Jill Gillespie, and Manasharc Productions. Filmed and recorded by Sadie Till and Marcus Leacox.